Oh, hey there. Didn't see you. I'm totally kidding. I'm just having fun with a some kind of intro. Just throwing this together. I totally knew you were there, by the way. I set this whole thing anyway. So I am putting this video together because on the 7th of April, which is Tuesday, I will be 30 years old. And so I know I don't look it. I've been told many times throughout my life that I never have looked my age, and I'm 100% okay with that because it's a cool thing, especially when you are much older and you look much younger. It's cool. So for this video, what I wanted to do was put together a list of things that I've learned throughout my life. And the way that I'm going to go about it is talk about 30 different quotes that have really impacted my life and basically shaped my perception of life and the way that I experience life, the way that I live life, and just everything with it. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna start this off with a phrase from one of my absolute favorite television shows of all time. You unlock this door with the key of imagination. The Twilight Zone. Rod Serling, shout out to him. He was someone who really impacted my life in a very profound way. His work with The Twilight Zone is definitely, it's been an influence in my life in terms of my art, the way that I go about putting together my storytelling. And it's something that has really just transformed the way that I even experience life altogether, the way that I look at life, the way that I live life. And it's just something that has really shaped my experience altogether. Number 1, success won't always bring happiness, but happiness will always bring success. I actually put this together as a quote not too long ago, and it's something, I put it out on Instagram and all other social media platforms, and I got a lot of really good feedback from it because it was something that it's true. And the way that I see it, success won't always bring happiness. Like, you can be successful at something, but it won't, bring happiness. Like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that it brings you that fulfillment. But at the same time, happiness will always bring success. And that's just the fact. Like, think about how successful you feel when you're happy, right? It's black and white. It's simple. Number 2, we treat others based on how we feel about ourselves. Yes. Period. The way that it works is that the energy that we carry around in our day-to-day lives is usually based on how we feel about ourselves. And with that same energy, we treat other people a very specific way. We either feel really great about ourselves and we treat other people based on that. We treat them really well. We feel really great with them or about them, or we feel, not so good about ourselves. And with that, we take that negative low energy material and we project it onto other people, unfortunately, inflicting more suffering onto other people. That's that. Number 3, religion is for those who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for those who have already been through it. This has definitely been one of my favorite quotes growing up. From the time that I heard it, it really changed my perception of, faith, I guess you could say, religion, and all that stuff, and spirituality. And it made me realize, wow, yeah, this is actually very accurate. And, I'm not afraid of experiencing struggle or tough times or anything beyond that. And it's just because I don't even look at it that way anymore. I just look at things as happening, and I either decide to attach myself to them or I do not. And of course there are consequences with attaching yourself to things or not attaching yourself to things, 2 completely different outcomes. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Number 4, focus not on the amount of money you can make in life, but instead the amount of value you can add to people's lives through pursuing what you love. Money is the byproduct. That was actually by me. And so this is something that I put together in my time of realizing that while so many people chase, money, I guess you could say, financial status, I recognize that it's really not about that. What it's about is discovering what it is that you love, what it is that you're good at, and figuring out how you can utilize that to add value to people's lives. And it's really not about the money. It's about the value. It's about the value that you add. I really want to emphasize this because it's important, because I know that there are a lot of people out there that are really running after that financial status, and they're trying to accumulate a ton of material wealth, and it's just not about that. It's really about the amount of value you can add to people's lives. Number 5, treat others as you wish to be treated. My mother. She's the one who, I actually did a podcast episode on that, and another one that I'll get into. And that's a quote that I learned from a very early point in my life. And it's definitely shaped the way that I experience life, with other people. And it's simple. Treat others the way you wish to be treated. And I'm sure that people wish to be treated well, treat others well, be kind. Plain and simple. Number 6, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Eckhart Tolle, from The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle is someone who has changed my life forever. Back in 2015, I believe it was, when I read The Power of Now, it really brought me into a place of mental stillness, which I'm grateful for. And the very fact of the matter is that the present moment is actually all that we ever have. Everything else is an illusion. Past, future, illusions. Focus on now, because that's all there is. The present moment is all we ever have. Number 7, when nobody else celebrates you, learn to celebrate yourself. Jay Shetty. I like this one because this is something that I've definitely utilized in my life. With the things that I'm focusing on, my creative endeavors, they're definitely something that, maybe not everyone else is on board with, and maybe nobody else cares about, and that's totally okay. What matters is that I care about it. What matters is that I'm able to recognize that and root for myself through the process, cheer myself through it, because, maybe no one cares that I put this stuff out. Maybe everyone does care, and, maybe it's just a slow process, and it's okay. And what matters is that we have the audacity to look ourselves in the face and be like, I'm proud of myself. I can do this. Celebrate you. Celebrate every bit of it. Every milestone. It's just, motivational. Oh man, I love it. Number 8, 400 trillion to 1. This is what scientists have agreed on for the probability of us all existing or being born. I know that he's probably not the person who made it as a quote, but I first heard this from Gary Vaynerchuk. And of course, this is an attempt to really kind of motivate people to get out of any rut and to just realize how incredible this opportunity to be alive is. And it's so true. So with 400 trillion to 1, we are more likely to win the lottery of, I think it's $100 million 9 times in our lives than we are to be born. This opportunity, you, right now, you listening to this, you being here with me, realize how incredible this opportunity to be alive is based on this science. This is incredible. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. But, whenever I kind of feel out of it or down in the dumps, I like to think about that. I like to, just be wow, what am I really worried about right now? This is so much bigger than anything else. And it just gets me right back into the groove. It's awesome. So, number 9, the effect we have on others is the most valuable currency there is. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is someone who has gone through an incredible amount of stuff, and he's very aware of his spiritual essence. And it's something that I appreciate because as someone who's so high profile as an actor as he is, he's done a lot of really good for, people, for this awakening that's going on. And it's so awesome to watch because he's even made things awkward in public with interviews and everything. And it's so cool to watch because, as we're awakening, we're able to watch someone so high profile and realize wow, yeah, this is happening. And it's so cool. And yes, the effect that we have on others is easily the most valuable currency there is. Simply because we all influence each other, we're all connected, and we're all energetical beings who have the capacity to, you know, I guess for lack of a better word, make or break each other. And it's important to realize that. Number 10, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. Rest in peace, my man. We miss you very much. Yeah, he passed away a few years ago, I believe it was. Maybe a little more than a few years ago, but the reason that I like this quote so much, changing the way that we look at things changes the way that things are, is plain and simple. A lot of people look at a rainy day as bad or meh or or just like nasty, and I look at it as beautiful. It's a gorgeous expression of nature. You know, there is literally nothing inherently wrong with it, other than what the unconscious mind decides to conjure up for it, which is BS. So, yeah, and you know, honestly, like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. This is also about manifesting. You could have a really terrible outlook on money, simply because you may have seen it as the root of all evil for zero reason, and that's affecting your manifestations. And so when you change that, you can change the fact that you're just manifesting all over the place, and it's incredible. So, like, there really is no reason to look at money as a bad thing. Money is not inherently bad. It's all about people's intentions. If you have good intentions, it'll amplify that. If you have bad intentions, it'll amplify that. Period. Let's get on with it. Number 11. Working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. Thank you, Simon Sinek. He's one of my favorite entrepreneurs because he's very straightforward and his work is very honest, and obviously he's doing what he loves. And it's true. Think about how many times you've really just not been passionate about something, or you just don't care about something, and it just feels like a drag. You're dragging something along in life, and you just don't feel authentic with it, right? But then when it's something that you're passionate about, when it's something that you absolutely love, you fly. You're flying everywhere, and you love it. You're just, you know, you're standing tall, you're up there with the birds, and it's incredible. All right, number 12. The most important thing is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. Jim Quick, the memory expert. He's the one, at least, that I heard this from. Not entirely sure if he's the one who said this. I think he is, though. But what this means to me is that, you know, prioritize. If you have something that is literally the most important thing, keep that thing the most important thing. Period. If that's your health, which of course I'm sure that health for a lot of people, it should be for everyone, honestly. Health is the most important thing. Health is wealth. Let's go. Number 13. When you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. This is something very profound, and it's something that has changed my life, and it's very true. When we want something bad enough in life, like when we truly want it, when we build a desire within ourselves, and we really, you know, walk throughout life thinking and living with that, we attract it. The universe helps us in achieving that. What an incredible book, by the way. In case anyone wants to read it, The Alchemist is amazing. Number 14. Life is 10% what happens and 90% how you react to it. Charles R. Swindoll. Our reaction or response to things is so much more profound than what's actually happening. And we could also just choose to not react to it, which would save, you know, mental and emotional energy. Number 15. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. The reason I like this one so much is because it's literally binary. It's black and white. Like, you could think that you can, and you will. The more that you think you can and amp yourself up in that, you will. But the second you think you can't, you also won't, because you're paralyzing yourself with a mindset that's basically making you think that you can't. And the more that you think you can't, the more that you won't, because your mind will just over and over again keep telling yourself that you just can't and you won't and you're not going to, and bye. Number 16. What you resist persists. Carl Jung. I want to add to this because I like this quote a lot, but the way that I've been hearing it a lot is what you resist persists, but what you accept disappears. And this is also important too for people that are looking for Let me try that again. For people that are looking for profound growth in life. Some of the most profound growth comes from simply just accepting that which they previously resisted. And it literally changes everything, because when you accept things, the mind doesn't look at it as a threat, so it doesn't continuously try to keep pushing it out, which then has it coming back in. Accept it, and it all changes. Believe me, I've been there tons of times. Number 17. We are all just walking each other home. Ram Dass. What an incredible person. He passed away, I believe it was earlier this year, and he had such an incredible impact on the world and people altogether. I'm grateful that I'm alive in a time that he was at the same time. We're all just walking each other home. What does this mean? This means that we're all going to the same place. We're all here to experience life. We're all here to help and grow and learn with each other and then go home. And of course, in this time that we're here to learn and grow with each other, we're meant to remember why we're here. And of course, that's all part of it. Realizing our infinite interconnectedness. There we go. It's all part of it. Number 18. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. Alan Watts. What an incredible philosopher. Alan Watts was someone who... Alright, so the reason why I think that this is such a profound quote is because we really shouldn't be trying to define ourselves. Ram Dass, by the way, is someone who believed in becoming nobody. Just basically being pure conscious awareness. And that's really what it's all about, because the second that we create this identity, we're then separate from everyone else, which is an illusion. An unfortunate illusion that so many people live by. So, yeah. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. Number 19. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is an attribute of the strong. Mahatma Gandhi. The reason that I like this quote so much is because it's 100% true. But what's interesting is that so many people live by the opposite, is that it is strong to, not forgive. But it's not. It's painful to not forgive because you're basically killing yourself in terms of, holding on to resentment and letting that eat away at your soul. And it's not fun and it sucks. And yeah, just don't do it. Forgiveness is powerful. Let go of that resentment. Let your soul come back to life and just live in love. 20. The greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. Lao Tzu, the writer of the Tao Te Ching. One of my most favorite people in history, to be honest with you, because he wrote the Tao Te Ching in a time of war, and he basically isolated himself, and he talked about what he wanted to see in humanity, and he wrote a book all on it, so that was some cool stuff. But yes, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. And I just 100% agree with that, because we have the potential to become our greatest versions. And in becoming our greatest versions, we treat everyone incredible. And that's why it's important. Number 20. Embrace this moment. Remember, we are eternal. All this pain is an illusion. Maynard James Keenan. Tool. I love this quote because I love the band. I love MJK, and I just think that Tool is an incredible band. And I had to put this in there because it's just such an awesome quote. Embrace this moment. Remember, we are eternal. All this pain is an illusion. We are eternal spiritual beings, and we are here to experience life as humans impermanently. And we need to recognize our transient nature and realize that we're going to go back home at some point. So that's what this is all about. That was number 21, by the way. 22. It may be said with a degree of assurance that not everything that meets the eye is as it appears. Rod Serling, The Twilight Zone. Kind of forgot that I put that in there again, but this is basically just saying don't take everything at face value. In fact, take almost nothing at face value. And just, do your own research and figure out what it actually is. Number 23. Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Aldous Huxley. Absolutely love this one. And it's so funny too because the amount of times that I've had conversations with people, which I guess I'd consider arguments, they just draw conclusions out of nowhere. That's one thing. But secondly, facts are facts. And just because you disagree with them does not mean that they disappear. This goes for so many different things. And we need to step our game up on that because it's ridiculous. Number 24. I am not who you think I am, and I am not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Charles Cooley. This is interesting because it's kind of like an idea of an idea within an idea. Ideaception. Cool. But it's true. The amount of times that I've had a sense of self, and I've had that based on what I think, what others think of me. Pretty interesting stuff. Number 25. It's gonna get deep in a second. You ready? Psychedelics are illegal, not because a loving government is concerned that you may jump out of a third-story window. Psychedelics are illegal because they dissolve opinion structures and culturally laid down models of behavior and information processing. They open you up to the possibility that everything you know is wrong. Terence McKenna, one of the greatest psychedelic travelers ever. Yeah, 100% agree with it. I'm also not one for culture, to be honest with you. I don't follow trends, so I just don't care about that stuff. I'm very much in tune with personal experience, and I believe heavily in that. So, yeah. I can't really say that I don't entirely follow, cultural stuff and trends, because here I am being a vlogger, and I guess to some extent that is following something, but whatever. Anyway. Number 26. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Jiddu Krishnamurti. This is one of my favorites because it's 100% true. We live in a profoundly sick society. So it's, trying to adjust to that is insanity, for lack of a better term. Number 27. Don't stand by my grave and weep. I'm not there. I do not sleep. This is from a shamanic ritual, and I 100% agree with it because we are eternal spiritual beings. And with that, I am not this consciousness that I am is not the skeleton in the grave. Number 28. Can you accept the notion that once you change your internal state, you don't need the external world to provide you with a reason to feel joy, gratitude, appreciation, or any other elevated emotion? Dr. Joe Dispenza. I just finished his book, Becoming Supernatural, by the way. One of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. Oh my goodness, yes. It's incredible. And, I 100% agree with that. Realizing that we have the capacity and the ability to experience these profound emotions within ourselves. And for that reason, we don't actually have to look outside of ourselves. Everything's within. It's incredible. Wow, I actually wrote that earlier. That's funny. 29. Think for yourself. Question authority. Timothy Leary. I love this one because it's true. This goes back to what I was talking about before with the whole not taking things at face value, because it's just important not to do that, because there are so many lies out there, there are so many illusions out there, and reality exists beyond thought. Number 30. I've got to end it off with Socrates. Here we go. An unexamined life is not worth living. I 100% agree with this for so many reasons, and it's simple. An unexamined life is not worth living. And the amount of potential that we have, sometimes buried deep within us, that we have to pick apart some layers just to get to, once we experience that potential, game over. So, yeah, I enjoy doing this, putting this video together, talking about the things that I've learned, and wow, the fact that I'm going to turn 30 years old on Tuesday is wild. So, yeah, and of course I'll do this when I turn 40, I feel incredible though, and I'm grateful to be here. So, yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.